events, but first, 69 years ago today, the concentration camps at Auschwitz were liberated. And across Merseyside, events have been taking place to mark Holocaust Memorial Day. At Liverpool Town Hall, a service of remembrance was held, and at the Holocaust Memorial Stone in St John's Gardens, wreaths were laid and prayers said. After the ceremony, BBC Radio Merseyside's Jimmy McCracken spoke to Rabbi Mordecai Wollenberg from Childwall Synagogue in Liverpool and Lord Mayor Gary Miller, who told him why today is so important.
It gets the message across that we should not discriminate. We should not have hatred. We should not have bigotry. We are all equal, and therefore let's just remind each other that we are equal. We are a diverse nation, a diverse world, but actually underneath we are the same. And we've got to remind people of that. And you might think, well, that's quite naive and it's not going to be much of a difference. If we all do it together, we can all learn from previous mistakes and highlight where there's issues starting where they may start. And they may start at home, they may start in the playground, they could start anywhere. Let's try and help stop that. Remember, the First World War, the victims of the First World War have gone. Unless people think, what was the trench warfare? What was it happened when those millions and millions of people died? That will happen with the Second World War. We can't let that happen. We cannot deny what has happened before.
Rabbi, the Lord Mayor there seems to be saying to us that every little helps. Is he right?
In an ideal world, you wouldn't need days like today because we'd remember these things every day, just like you wouldn't need Mother's Day because you think about your mother every day. But in reality, it is easy to forget, and it's so important to have days like today that just bring everything to a head. I also think it's very symbolic that when so many of these genocides took place with the blessing of national governments, that here we stand today with something which has been initiated by the British government. We're standing here with our civic leaders, and it's sending a clear message from the top as to what we expect. And I think that does help tremendously. At the same time, we say never forget. The Lord Mayor just mentioned a number of genocides which have taken place since World War II. And I'm very struck by the fact that when they set up the Parliamentary Commission into Anti-Semitism, which was set up by two MPs who were not Jewish, they said a lot of their colleagues came up to them and said, "Oh, I didn't realise you were Jewish." They said, "We're not." And the unspoken question was, so why do you care? And I think that message is also the important one of today. We're here for those who don't have a voice. We're here for those who maybe don't always get noticed when they're being persecuted. And if that message of zero tolerance and of never forget and never again starts to trickle down, then it's all worth it. And yes, one day just to mark that and bring it all out into the open, I think is very important, especially as we get further and further away from World War II, that we don't forget.
So should I care today as much as you? I'm not a Jewish person, but you are. It obviously means a lot to you and to the Jewish community. Should I care as much as you? Should I be sharing your pain?
I hope so. Not for the Jewish community, just for the wider problem and for the fact that we still see, even around us, discrimination and persecution. And as long as that continues to exist, then yes, we should all care. It's still as important as ever. And I'm very proud to live in a city which I walk around as a proud Jewish person with my skull cap. And I have to say, I don't experience discrimination on a daily basis, but there are those that do, and certainly there are those that do for other reasons. There's still a lot of work that can be done. We can never ever be blasé about it. And yes, if you're from a minority community, perhaps you're more aware of that. But in reality, it's all of our problem. Yes.
Drive Time.
BBC Radio Merseyside.
Seems all the more poignant, doesn't it, given recent events in the news concerning Nicholas Anelka et al.